Coming up, a flying car renaissance.
Thanks from and to General Aviation, and we go flamping.
And you too can be a STOL star. We'll explain when AOPA Live this week continues in just a moment.
In a world of ancient avionics, one Seattle company is breaking all the rules. Now in airplanes everywhere, coming soon to your panel. There's a reason, pilots. Fly Dynon.
Rated A for your airplane.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haines and Alyssa Cobb.
General Aviation delivering a message of gratitude. That's what Operation America Thank You is all about. During the coronavirus pandemic, we've especially relied on our healthcare workers and first responders.
Yeah, we sure have, and one organization wanted to recognize them using General Aviation. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran has the story.
It's a cold, cloudy day at Reagan National Airport in D.C. as the Cirrus taxis up. But the weather hasn't kept the heroes away. First responders and healthcare workers are here to welcome the final flight of Operation America Thank You, a relay flight across the country.
This is a way for us, as well as the aviation industry, to have an impact at such a tough time in this country and to really give back to the ones getting us through this pandemic.
The event was coordinated by the Spirit of Liberty Foundation. Like this event at Reagan, at each stop the foundation held a ceremony to thank those who have worked and sacrificed so much this year. Volunteer pilots flew a commemorative torch and banner from California to D.C.
This torch that's been flying across America, to me, is an indication of something that is connecting all Americans, all patriots, connecting us together. We're in this together, and it's a thank you for what we're doing in order to just improve the health of our community, the health of our nation.
This Operation Thank You means the world to me and all of us healthcare workers, because it is so nice to be acknowledged for the work that we do every day that we love doing. It is an honor that they have chosen to honor us this way, and we really appreciate it.
And for the Cirrus pilot who flew the final leg from Baltimore to Washington, the flight was extra significant.
I personally had a healthcare scare this year, and so the healthcare workers took care of me, and I'm so honored to be able to fly this final leg into Reagan National Airport in honor of all healthcare workers.
And GA is the perfect tool for spreading the message.
We felt that it was the best because we got into a lot of airports that commercial would not take us, and this is for the hometown heroes, so this isn't for every single capital city. This is for some of those smaller towns that may be overlooked, where these people deserve a thank you as well.
Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
The relay flight took almost 5 weeks, landing in 90 cities and covering nearly 11,000 miles.
Well, we like to say that GA serves America, and here's an example of how an airport community serves the larger community. Residents at Wyoming's Alpine Air Park just raised more than $200,000 for local public services. The money will go to the fire department, EMS, hospital, a library, and even an ice skating rink. Steve Funk, an early developer at the air park, led the effort.
Pretty special. These are good neighbors.
We're going through a fiscal challenge in the state of Wyoming, and we've always been very good to the small communities across the state and helped them as best we could financially. That may not be the case for a few years. So for Steve and Bill and those who have stepped up, property owners here, and contributed to help the fire department, the EMS, and much more, this is crucial at a time like this. It's not just a slight benefit, it is crucial to Alpine to have this type of donation.
AOPA President Mark Baker said this was a great example of the GA community spreading goodwill and showing the value of the local airport. Alpine Air Park is just 35 miles from Jackson Hole and continues to be a driver of the region's growth and development. And an ocean away, GA is helping some underprivileged kids. The Aloha 99s and the Hawaii section of Women in Aviation International are going to be using training flights to deliver supplies and Christmas gifts to children in need. About a dozen pilots will make their training flights to do double duty as Santa's helper. They'll fly to neighboring islands and deliver gifts and supplies to homeless kids. Visit their website if you'd like to help out. Well, Tom, it's great that this pandemic, it can't stifle the spirit of pilots and the goodwill they can do through general aviation.
Yeah, it really is great to see people out using their airplanes for such great causes and really giving general aviation sort of a shining example of what giving back is all about. So yeah, nice job to all of them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, hope springs eternal. Someone has been trying to create a market for a flying car since at least 1946 and Molt Taylor's Aerocar. I mean, who wouldn't want one? It's a car. We love cars. It's an airplane. We love airplanes. Problem is, nobody has yet made a car airplane that people really want. Taylor could only find about 200 buyers and actually built just 6. But hey, people keep trying. This just flew in Slovakia. It's the Klein Vision Air Car. It flew 2 airport patterns last week. It can transform from car to airplane in about 3 minutes. The 2-seater reportedly can achieve 107 knots with a 4-cylinder BMW engine. The company says they will have a model with a 300 horsepower Adept engine in 6 months. And a Dutch company, PAL-V, just got its gyrocopter approved for European roads. They're still working on EASA, that's the European FAA certification. They claim the Liberty is the first flying car, although it is yet to fly while the company completes various tests to get EASA permission for those test flights. And as to being first, well, maybe the folks at PAL-V should Google Molt Taylor.
Well, speaking of flying cars, Terrafugia seemed to be at the top of the flying car heap a few years ago, but we haven't heard much from them lately. Well, good news, they're still around. Terrafugia is working on certifying the transition in the LSA category. They expect to have that by the end of the year. After that, they'll have to go through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to get the transition certified as safe on the highway. Chinese company Geely Global acquired Terrafugia 3 years ago. Now, they're working on the Transition F2 transport system that would transport up to 4 people on the ground and in the air. Well, Tom, it's great news out of Terrafugia. I remember watching them do their demo flight at Oshkosh in 2013, just a couple laps around the pattern, and glad that they're still making headway.
Yeah, that's right. I was actually in Boston in 2009 when they unveiled it. I think it was at the Boston Science Center. And so that was a while ago, 2009. So at that point, they were saying they were going to deliver airplanes by 2011. Here we are almost a decade later. So let's hope they're successful in getting that LSA certification done by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well, another kind of airplane, a jet. How's this for a deal? For the price of just 2 of its aircraft, you can get the whole company. AML Global Eclipse has bought bankrupt One Aviation, manufacturer of the Eclipse jet. Price? $5.25 million. That's less than the list price of 2 Eclipse 550s. The buyer is a subsidiary of a British fuel company. They want to keep the Eclipse in production. The deal still must be approved by the bankruptcy court. And big news for Piper. Spartan College of Aeronautics and Technology just bought 32 new Piper trainers. That also marks the delivery of the 5,000th Piper Archer. That milestone aircraft went to Spartan's flight facility at Jones Riverside Airport in Tulsa.
Well, and Cessna thinks things are looking up. Even though parent company Textron has posted back-to-back losses, boss Scott Donnelly says the 4th quarter is trending up. He told financial analysts that GA flight activity is recovering faster than commercial airlines, and that means orders for used and new corporate aircraft. NetJets is ordering more aircraft, and orders are up for the Beechcraft King Air as well. Things not so good at Boeing. Losses continue for the Seattle company. Boeing said it would cut an additional 7,000 jobs. Meanwhile, Delta Airlines retired the last of its Boeing 777 wide-body jets. It had been the airline's international workhorse. The airline instead will fly Airbus A350s on many of its international flights.
And if you're thinking of an international flight, we've just released the latest versions of our pilot guides for the Bahamas and Caribbean. The 2021 guides have been expanded to include coronavirus-related travel procedures. Yes, the islands are among the few international locations Americans can visit right now. The guide includes a list of COVID-19 resources and quick-turn testing sites. And of course, there's information on customs, currency, airport data, and everything else you need to know to fly your airplane to the Bahamas or the Caribbean. Guides cost $39.95. You'll find them in our Pilot Gear store, printed and digital editions.
Now here's another kind of traveling adventure. You've heard of glamping, right? That's camping with all of life's luxuries. Now one pair of adventurous pilots has coined a new one, flamping. That's a mashup of flying and camping. Back in the early part of the COVID-19 pandemic, professional photographer and CFII Philippe Wallach and art director turned professional floatplane pilot Sarah Tamar found themselves with a whole lot of time and nothing to do. But they had Philippe's 172 named Rusty and a bad case of wanderlust.
My main clientele is the biggest New York City museum, so they closed down in March. So basically, for all the work that I had lined up, March, April, and May, that disappeared basically overnight. It was difficult times for all of us. I mean, it was the height of the whole quarantine period. It was still cold, and the idea came that why not try to quarantine away from people together with Rusty.
Totally. Yeah, I had my season was supposed to begin in earnest May 1st. And then because of coronavirus, it got moved to June 1st. So I had this empty month where I could have, stayed on the ground and been kind of sad at home, or we could have taken this trip that we've talked about doing and have done certain things that like flamping across the Northeast a little bit. And this has always been something that we had talked about doing. And finally we had the time and decided to jump into the opportunity.
They set off westbound and stopped at many beautiful places, documenting their trip for a blog on Philippe's website called Flamping Across America. The trip resonated with readers and connected the dots between airplanes and adventure.
It's a high-energy competition, and
we love about flying and everything we love about camping. And the two have a crossover in the sense that you're really out there in nature. And you're at the mercy of the elements that happens in flying, that happens in camping and being outside and everything. And being able to combine the two and then wake up in the morning with the sun and there's your airplane and it's ready for the next day of flying is unbelievable. It's just such a cool experience that I think we both want to continue to do for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I think it's almost like the manifestation of the ultimate freedom. It's because, not many people really is aware, the non-flying people they aren't aware what kind of freedom the flying gives. It's basically you can fly from point A to point B all across America without talking to anyone in terms of getting a permission.
Well, you can read more about their trip on their website, where you'll also find many more stunning images from the trip. Well, Tom, I talked to Philippe and Tamar this summer. It was several weeks after they had been back, and they were just still completely excited with the adventure they had. And then Philippe actually, in those shots you can see, he was actually already halfway across the U.S. again, flamping on another adventure.
Well, good for them. Sounds like they had a great time, and what a fun way to get through the pandemic.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, something new in the weather department.
And strut your soul stuff. AOPA Live This Week continues in a moment.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.
Welcome back. An amazing discovery, water on the sunlit surface of the moon. We told you last week about the NASA announcement. Now we want to tell you more about how they did it. The tool used to make the discovery, SOFIA, it stands for Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. The platform is a one-of-a-kind Boeing 747 SP carrying a powerful telescope for detailed study of the solar system. AOPA web editor Jim Moore has the story about the mission.
This classic Boeing 747 SP is now a tool that makes groundbreaking discoveries about the universe. They call it SOFIA, and it's the platform for the world's largest flying telescope.
It's an incredible piece of machinery, and just the fact that people had the vision for this and carried out that vision and did it so exceptionally is pretty incredible.
The short-body 747 saw years of service with Pan Am and United Airlines. NASA purchased it in the late 1990s and set about converting it for telescope flying service. They stripped out much of the interior to make room for a team of scientists who run the equipment. They're all focused on the operation of a 106-inch diameter infrared telescope. Once the airplane reaches at least 35,000 feet, on the way up to 44,000 feet or more, a massive door in the aft fuselage opens. They may be flying a retired airliner, but the pilots say every SOFIA mission is unique. The precision is the key as they fly long, sweeping arcs that can stretch for thousands of miles.
So our job on these missions is to hit every planned waypoint within 2 minutes of the planned time so that the scientists can make sure to see the object they're looking for. We also try to get as high an altitude as we can, as soon as we can, so that we are above as much of the Earth's atmosphere as possible.
These long-duration night flights can be grueling, and there's a lot of work to do in the cockpit with minor heading changes and constant attention to the throttle.
They're typically in the 4,000 plus nautical mile when you start flying, so it's quite an adventure every night.
Despite all that work, the pilots say it is well worth it.
I'm proud to be on every single SOFIA mission because I know that there's research being done, discoveries being made. We're contributing to understanding of the universe.
It's a great project to be a part of, and especially gratifying to fly such a classic aircraft has always been fun to be a part of.
Jim Moore, AOPA Live.
And you can read more about SOFIA on our website.
But it just keeps getting better. The AOPA app now gives you even more flight planning functionality. Many of you have been using the AOPA Go app, and we're going to retire that app at the end of the year. All of its functions and a lot more actually are going into the AOPA app. You can see a list of all the things available in the AOPA app. Now you can even download the airport and destinations directory so you can see airport data, amenities, and activities even when you're offline. It also includes the mobile version of iFlight Planner for AOPA, and soon a new weather tool powered by SiriusXM Aviation. Now the best part? It's free. The flight planner and weather features are available only to AOPA members. You can find it in the Apple and Android app stores. Now, while the new weather tool isn't yet quite ready for prime time, you can play with it now and tell us what you think. AOPA Weather powered by SiriusXM Aviation is now in public beta. It gives you color-coded METARs and TAFs and dynamic maps with animated radar, satellite, and wind streams. Current and forecast service conditions, TFRs, and much more. So give it a test and talk back to us.
Some more aviation scholarships to tell you about. The Helicopter Association International is offering a variety of scholarships for pilots and technicians. Deadline for application, December 30th. You can find more information on their website, and we have many more scholarships listed on our website as well. May not have been the best of years, but Sun & Fun is working to cap it off on a high note. They're holding a holiday flying festival and car show December 4th and 5th.
That's right, and one of the main attractions is a short takeoff and landing competition. The Central Florida Classic is a part of the STOL Championships, and it's coming together well. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop caught up with the organizer for a preview.
It's a high-energy competition, and it puts your skills to the test.
We put you on a line, you take off, we measure your takeoff. You come back around and land, and we measure your landing. It's very simple.
And any pilot who wants to try their hand at it is welcome. Up to 125 slots spread across 5 classes will be whittled down in several rounds.
And then we're going to take the top 6 pilots from each class. So we have 5 classes, 6 pilots. So you've got 30 guys going to the finals. The finals will start Saturday afternoon.
And the big show will be in front of the Sun & Fun audience and telecast on Live Airshow TV.
We're really excited about a couple of things. One is we're going to have cameras in some of the aircraft on the finals. Not all of them, but some of them. Probably at least the top 2 in each class. So the viewers will get to see what the pilot sees. They'll see how their sight line, what they see as they come down the land. So we're pretty excited about that.
It's a chance for ordinary pilots to prove their abilities in front of a major audience. Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
You can find information on attending in person on the Sun and Fun website, or watch the event live on Live Airshow TV. Now, if you're going to Lakeland, AOPA will see you there. AOPA President and CEO Mark Baker is part of the GA Town Hall during the event. Well, Tom, after a rough year of cancellation after cancellation, I am excited for this holiday Sun and Fun event, and I'm sure thousands of pilots are just chomping at the bit for December to get here.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it'll be great to see the airplanes plus the cars, and just another great way to bring the community out to the airport. I know that Sun and Fun has really worked hard to make it a safe event and put a lot of protective procedures in place. So let's go out and support Sun and Fun. It'll be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
That's our show for this week. Thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Yep, we hope to see you back here next Thursday for the next edition of AOPA Live This Week.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.